Hello, family. Hello, family. Wow. The Elevator Show right here tonight. My goodness. I'm telling you, I was waiting for this day like what? Does the Bible say as the watchman waits for the morning? But I'm telling you, oh my goodness, you have no idea. Share, invite, bring everybody on the show tonight. This is gonna be something else. Yeah, it's gonna be something else. Powerful lineup tonight. This is the Elevator Show on the School of Wisdom. So share, bring somebody. Let's build it up. Type where you're watching from. I'll be reading your names tonight, and then we can get to know where you are from. Just type whoever is live tonight. Let me know, and I'll read your names. Who's there tonight? Let me know. Type where you're watching from, and I'm gonna share or mention you. But after we begin, it's gonna be so hot, heated. My goodness, this is a night like no other. I'm sharing also to a few groups right here. Praise be to God. Wow, Priscilla, karibu sana. Priscilla Mwaneki, welcome. Let us know whether you're hearing us clearly. Priscilla, thank you. Good evening, in Jesus' name, thank you. Tuned in, looking forward to this. This is Shadrach Gishuhi Mahinda. Karibu sana. Wow. For a long time, we've been talking about we need to. Africa needs to. Tonight, we are talking about how to do it. We are going to do it really, not talking about what needs to be done. So and so needs to do this. No, that talk is over. This is the day to do it. This is the day to do it. Wow. Glory to God. In a few minutes, a minute or two, I'm just going to bring in my very, very wonderful guest. You want to know who's there tonight? Coach RB, the man who has gotten miraculously healed from COVID. Glory to God. Coach, he'll be joining us. He's with us tonight. We were just chatting with him. And I also have wonderful woman, Dr. Hadassah from Washington, D.C., running Crown Women Rising in Washington. Last but not the least, we are so honored to have on this show Toyin from the U.S. Glory to God. All right. Somebody let the coach know that he can be joining us. Let me be reading a few more of the names. Can be reading a few of them to know who's there. Can see George Garuya is there. Who else is there? One more minute and we've kicked off. Yeah. All right. Give me a few of the names and then we just kick it off. Yeah, can see Priscilla is saying it's loud and clear. Awesome. Eric, welcome. Nyakeo, karibu. Karibu in Swahili means welcome. George Garuya, welcome. Nyambura Morioki, welcome. It's time to rock and roll. Awesome. Wow, let me just Dr. Hadassah, how are you doing? How is it's called, are you in West which type of Virginia? Which part of Virginia are you?
Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia?
Yeah.
Awesome. And please, you can turn up your volume a bit. If you,
Okay.
yeah,
Hear me now?
a little bit, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Ah, perfect, perfect, perfect.
I'm in Northern Virginia and it's a beautiful day. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. It's about 101 degrees, so it's really nice and we are all doing well.
Wow. Is it near Maryland?
Yes, 30 minutes from Maryland.
Okay.
It's actually called the DMV,
Oh, wow. Just a minute.
meaning the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia, DMV.
Oh, wow. I like Baltimore a lot, and Maryland area. I've ministered that area for quite some time. It's a beautiful area. And it's good to have you on the show tonight. And even before, prior to this, I've also been enjoying working together with you. So it's a great time together. Coach RB is just joining us. Check whether he's there. Admit him if he's already joining, and then I'll be bringing also our great guest for today, Toyin Omesiri. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, but Toyin, you can just say hello as we get to begin, and I'll do the other introduction later. But just greet us tonight.
How do you say, is it Asana? Did I say that well?
Say that again.
I'm trying to say good evening in Kenya. How do you say good evening?
Good evening.
Or good day.
Habari. Nasema habari. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening. Habari. Good day.
Nzuri sana.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Yeah, thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure to join my sister as well.
Yeah.
And my brother that's about to join us.
Yeah.
This is such an honor. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Coach, are you with us? My covenant brother. Have you admitted him? Okay. I guess he's joining. But it's amazing tonight. Amazing tonight. Only God can do this, bring and connect people like this, especially during this COVID time. We thank God. I want to read a story as we begin, and this story is from the book of Matthew 19. It's interesting, from whatever perspective you come from, the Bible will talk to you. God talks to us in a language that we understand. If he's talking to a child, he comes to the level of a child. If he's talking to a woman at the well, a prostitute, he engages her in that language they understand. If he's talking to a tax collector like Zacchaeus, he engages him in the same language. So when I started to move a lot into the marketplace, because I have a lot of passion for marketplace for many years. Interesting, I was just thinking the other day, I started doing wealth conferences in 205, 206. Yeah, you need to accept Coach. Yeah, please. Yeah, just accept him. Yeah, so I started doing, wealth conferences, 205, 206, and I did not know what was in me, but it was a seed for greatness. And if you look, even connecting with Dr. Mike Maddock, a man who also is very geared towards liberating people on the area of finances. So those are great things. So let me read this parable, and then we're gonna just move on right into the heart of the topic. Most of the parables Jesus talked about had to do with money. Very interesting. Very interesting. Matthew 19. Just give me a minute as I get a verse. Coach RB, why don't you say hello to us?
Good evening. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much. My name is Robert Burale, your coach and your friend. Thank you for having us, and I'm looking forward to having a great time of learning from these great ladies, and you yourself as my covenant brother, and the greater public who are tuned in on Facebook and any other platform. That we hope you will not come out the way you tuned in. God bless you.
All right, it's actually the book of Luke 19, not Matthew, Luke 19. Let me just go there. And wonderful enough, blessed enough is that everybody on the show tonight, there are people who love Jesus and who are doing great things for the kingdom of God. And 13 verse 13 says, and he called 10 of his servants and delivered to them 10 pounds. You know, that's economy, that's money. Say to them, occupy till I come. One translation, and I believe even the NIV is the one which says, I think, do business till I come. So the Bible has a lot to do with business. Do business till I come. But his citizens hated him, sent a message after him saying, we will not have these men reign over us. And it came to pass when he was returned, having received the kingdom, and commanded the servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. I love that word, gained by trading. And we're going to be talking about trade tonight. You've already had church, you've already had your fellowship, so today we are not preaching to you. No, today we are talking money matters. We are talking business. And we are not talking about what needs to be done. We are going to go to the nitty-gritties of the how we're going to do it. Some of us, we're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions because there are companies to be started, there are alliances to be made, connections to be made. That's what we are here tonight. And I want us to focus on that word, gained by trading. And this man came and asked these people, bring what I gave you. What have you done with it? So COVID has come. There are people who feel like they can't move on with life because you lost a job or you lost an opportunity or a business. But let me tell you something. There's so much more. I don't want to take much time here, my friends. I don't think I've had a show with such loaded people on the same platform. I'm telling you, I'm shaking tonight. I'm shaking because this show tonight is loaded with serious greatness. And let me just begin by introducing one of our great panelists tonight, Dr. Hadassah. Last year we had planned a trade and business summit. Interesting enough that God gave me an idea last year about doing a trade summit. And, you know, it was just a thought. And a few people came together. A great friend of mine, James Murray, Chamber of Commerce, joined us, and all these other people. He was our chairman and all that. And we did a very wonderful trade conference in Dallas. And guess what? Dr. Hadassah was our choice speaker there. This wonderful lady hails from Kenya and works at the White House. She has a wonderful business. Women products like beauty products. Let me not say women, but it's beauty products. She just released this month. We are celebrating her. She'll be talking about that today. We are talking about the how. And then on top of that, she runs a great organization called Crown Women Rising that has been doing so many great things in Africa. The other day she was telling me about the countries that she's done policies for all over Africa. She's been with the UN and many other things. Dr. Hadassah, I can talk and talk and talk. Why don't you say hello tonight?
Hi, everybody. We want to greet our viewers and welcome you and thank Bishop James for having us tonight. And we hope we'll be able to impact some greatness in you. We'll be able to challenge and inspire you to move from where you are to where you want to be.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hadassah, and friends, share, just share it on groups, invite as many people as possible because now we are hitting the road. Coach RB, this is my covenant brother. You know, by the way, I never had a brother. I never had a brother. So I'm so happy that you're my covenant brother, and we've been walking this journey together. And you are one man who is very rare. I respect you highly. You are very cut from a different cloth. Cut from a different cloth. This man is on demand in Kenya and all over the world, and my goodness, it's our household name. When he got healed from of corona of COVID-19, I mean, the kind of names he was telling me he turned down for interviews, I could not believe it. It's only an honor that you're on this show, having done the biggest shows in Kenya and even around the world, and you're on this show. It's a big honor. I'll never take you for granted, my brother. Why don't you just also say another good hello, and then we're going to kick it off.
Man, Bishop, you know you are my brother. You know I love you from my heart.
Yes,
and, it's not based on anything but pure divine connection and on a value system that cannot be shaken.
Wow.
And I really do honor you. And there are people when they call, you can only give two answers. That is yes or absolutely yes. And I've said this even when I come to minister in your church. For you, that is it. Because through you, I have seen what loyalty is, genuine friendship.
Wow.
One thing I love about you and I'd like everybody to hear is that you don't like growing alone.
Wow.
You have the heart to help other people grow, and I think
yes,
I think that is why God has blessed you, you know, in a way that is baffling many people. So
yes,
I'm looking forward to this great evening, and also to learn from these two great ladies who I can tell and I know very well are powerhouses. And today is one of those days I just wish I had my pillow, sit back and just laugh. As a secular artist said, lean back.
Lean back.
And we just learn. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thanks, bro. We're in this together, and we're going far together. I mean, and I believe these relationships are heavenly, and they are joined by God for a season and for a purpose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Toyin Umesli is a rare breed. It's a rare breed. I've been thinking about her, and I've also been telling my wife so much about her accomplishments. Toyin is a person who's been on the top ladder on corporate America, and scaled that mountain. And I don't want to talk about that, but I want her to come and tell us a bit about that foundation, how she's moved from the corporate America, and having risen there on corporate America, she was not selfish. She decided to look back to where she came from, because and this is what I want to challenge even the people in the diaspora. I was telling my wife yesterday that one of the things I look at even in the people in the diaspora, you didn't just go there you didn't just go there to make a name or just to make money. You didn't just go there to make a name or to make money. It's very, very good to go back and remember your people. And that's what she has done. She has come back and remembered Africa. And she has a big organization called Trade with Africa. Trade with Africa. And so, Toyin, why don't you just come on board and just say a big hello, introduce yourself. I heard you say about your dad, how your dad, he's the one who trained you to be who you are today. But just go ahead, please.
Greetings, my brothers and sisters, and such an honor. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on your show. It's an honor. I'm just glad to be here, to listen, to connect with your message as well. And yes, like you said, a lot of us, to be honest, when we leave the shores of Africa, it's like a one-way ticket, right? We're one-way ticket, and it's the same story for me. I came in for my graduate program in 2004, and then after my graduate program, I went straight into corporate America. And when you're on that fast-moving train of advancing professionally, you're always looking for the next thing, right? And I grew my career and ended up working for the world's largest company, Fortune 1.
Wow.
So basically, you know, when people say American dream, that was the opportunity that presented itself.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's kind of interesting. But a couple of years ago, my dad passed, and I had to make an emergency trip back to Africa. And to be honest, before then, I hadn't been back to the continent in 10 years.
Wow.
So a decade had gone by. Even though I stayed connected with family and all of that, I didn't visit until my dad passed. So that was a huge turning point for me.
Wow. Toyin, when I look at you, and you had a very powerful conference Friday and yesterday I attended, the kind of people you have invited, the kind of people you're rubbing shoulders with. I look at you. You have been working with Walmart in corporate and heading some of the biggest departments right there in marketing in Walmart, and also how have you been able to transition from like corporate to a place of coming now to help the Africa person in trading? Just talk to us a little bit about that. How have you been able to transition from that place to where you are right now? And tell us the transition from there and what you are doing right now. Just let us know.
Right. So I think my transition was quite unique in the sense of what I was transitioning was saying, I want to use my skills, my talent, my resources, my network. I want to channel it in a different direction.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was changing who I was, because one of my natural outlook on life is wherever I find myself, wherever God puts me, I give it my all. Wow. I show up, I give it my all. That's what I've always done for any employer that has taken me on. It's like wherever you are, you're serving as a Christian, you're serving God, do it with all your heart, be found faithful where you are, and show up. So if God moves me from here to Alaska, that's the same thing I would do. Wow. That's been my own way of operating. So for me, it was more of, I have the skill sets. So for example, I led the team that was responsible for global sourcing implementation. And what that is really how Walmart buys from all over the world.
Wow.
In terms of the systems they use, the techniques they use, how they make those decisions, who they want to buy from, who they want to deal with, like the internal processes, and in terms of the design and the coordination with the vendor management offices, in terms of, and that exposed me to see how the rest of the world was aggressively pursuing trade opportunities. Because buying and selling, trade, when we say trade, people think it's a big word. It just means buying and selling. Right? It just means buying and selling. The reality is a level buying and selling. And I try to down that you have technically 3 markets. You have your local market, so you're in Kenya, I'm in Chicago, whatever buying and selling you're doing in your local market, that's local buying and selling. Then you go to regional. If you want to now buy across the border, right?
Yes.
Within East Africa,
yes.
Right? That's regional trade. So in the US, you say Canada, you say Mexico. That's regional, not American trade. But then there's global trade. There's a global market that is open to the rest of the world. But what people do not realize is that the rules of engagement in each of those markets is different. Wow. So what we find is that a lot of people in Africa would come with the local understanding that they used to buy and sell in Kenya, and they will now show up to the global market and then think they will be successful. It doesn't happen. So I think for me, transitioning was saying, oh wow, I've seen the global space and the scale and the technicality and the complexity and the instruments of trade that allow global markets to trade in ridiculous levels. And I'm saying, within that world, where are my African brothers and sisters?
Wow. It's already started. It's already started right here. And before I forget, tell us what is Nazaru? What is Nazaru organization? Tell us about that.
Yes, so my company is called Nazaru, and basically we help connect the world to Africa through trade events,
Yeah.
trade facilitation,
Yeah.
and education and consulting. So basically, we serve as a gateway to help Africa trade with the world and to help the world understand commercial opportunities in Africa. Because one of the challenges that Africa as a brand has is that we've allowed people to label us as a continent of war, famine, and disease and poverty.
Mm.
So what then happens is when somebody like myself says trade with Africa, people are like, "Ah, Africa, trade. Does Africa, like what does Africa has to offer in the world of global trade? Because typically they assume that you're asking for charity, help Africa, save Africa, the people of Africa. So we have had to reorient people, to re-educate people to say, hey, when we talk about trade, we're talking about commerce.
Wow.
We're talking about investment. We're talking about um, value for value.
Mm.
World of business is value for value because an investor is saying, if I put my $1 into Africa, what am I going to get back in return?
Mm.
Right? Whereas the old conversation is, I am giving my $1 and I will never get it back.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. And I want to introduce this topic right now, and I know after this I would like Coach will also engage, and Dr. Hadassah. Toyin, for such a long time, when people look at Africa, they've been looking at Africa as a country to help, or a continent to help with aid. And right now, you have a new, a great mindset and a great wisdom of moving from aid to trade. And for so long, we have been looking, you colonize. I remember even in the years of Kenya, like in the 90s, there's a time, President Moi, former President Moi said, you know what, I don't even want your aid, And he said to the West people, I mean, whatever, I don't want you guys because you're controlling us. And yet now, how do we need to bridge from looking for aid, and not even the governments, their churches, their people, youth, their women? How can we move from looking for handouts to a place where we can move in trade? And from here, Coach RB, feel free to engage, and Dr. Hadassah. But Toyin, how can we move? How can we move from trade to aid? From aid to trade, yeah.
Yeah, I think fundamentally education. How we see the world and how we see ourselves.
Yes.
Right? Because we have to understand how the world works. The world of foreign aid runs parallel to the world of trade.
Wow.
But they do not intersect. Oftentimes, most of the time, they do not intersect.
Say that again. Say that again. The world?
Yes, the world of foreign aid, what they say, development, the development organizations and all of that. The world of aid, of helping, of sensitizing, of poverty alleviation, designed to, along that line. That world is a different world from the world of trade.
Wow.
The actors, the stakeholders in those two worlds, they are different.
Wow.
So let me explain. Even from a political standpoint, our government leaders on the continent, they are used, for example, here in US, they are always going to Washington, D.C. And the only thing Washington can give you is aid. Washington can only give you a portfolio of aid, taxpayer money,
wow,
and engagement. And that also, there's complexity along that line.
Yes.
But the day you want to transition from aid to trade, that's when you start going to cities outside DC.
Wow.
If you want to trade in automotive industry, you go to Michigan. If you want to trade in technology, you go to California. If you want to trade in agriculture, you go to Arkansas, Idaho. So you go to Iowa. But because we keep going to DC, we think we keep knocking on the door of DC and we're asking for trade. In fact, we need to understand that that's a political seat.
Wow.
And the best thing they can offer you is aid, and that's what they've been offering 20, 30 years.
Wow.
But when you talk about trade is value for value.
Wow.
It's value for value. It's saying agriculture, right?
Yes.
In the world of agriculture, we have farm. We want to buy farm equipment. We need seed. We want to grow this crop, and when we grow this crop, we want to process it. And then after processing it, we want to take it to market. And then after taking it to market, then we can employ our youth, all of that. That world is different from foreign aid.
Wow. Coach Irby.
Yes, my goodness, I was just about to give an offering. Now, for me, let me tell you something. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, even governments, the presidents go to the European countries and the US and South America, and they already go and play second fiddle. But even before we go there, let me go down to the bottom of the ladder. Even the normal African man or woman, to be honest, and let's have it's the naked truth conversation.
Naked truth, yeah.
We already, if we enter a place, and I'll say it bluntly, and we say there are 50 Europeans, and there are 49 chairs, okay? There are 49 Europeans and 1 African. Let me tell you, even in the lower place, the moment an African man enters, he says, no, let the white people sit fat.
Wow.
So our mindset must also change.
True.
That we need to get to a place where we know what we have, that when we enter into these places, we are entering in equal measure. Now, I'll say this.
Wow.
When you look at the EPZDA in Kenya, I'm told they make the denim jeans from there, and then they're sent to Europe, and then they're given an English label, and then it's sent back to Kenya with a hiked price. So what are we paying for? The labor is ours.
Yes.
Raw material is ours.
Yes.
But we are buying something expensive, saying we bought it from Europe, because the label has been put a European label.
Wow. Wow.
So we need to go down and sort out our mindset. Even I've had people say, oh, you have a nice suit. Or you say, I bought it from the US. And anybody who bought from a local tailor will not say anything, because already the person who bought it from the American tailor will be seen to be on a higher pedestal than the one who bought it from the African tailor. And that mindset must change. Because of that mindset, we do not help our own, right?
Wow.
And that is why we are dangling and sleeping in bed with something called poverty.
Yes.
Poverty of the mind manifests to economic poverty.
Wow.
Understand what I'm saying? So it's to urge us really have a mind shift. We are seeing now our great ladies here are doing great things in the US.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I'm sure they may not be in a large company of many other African women.
That's true.
And it's lonely up there.
Yes.
So we need to get people to understand. And when I come to the women, it's another topic altogether, because the African culture has told the women you have to play second fiddle. If you're called to work in a big multinational, but your husband doesn't want, then you will not go. Wow. So that's also another story altogether. But let me not open that kind of home, because it's going to get crazy in this place. But it is our mindset that we know we can do it. Some of the most powerful and economically astute European companies that have branches in Africa will tell you, if they are honest, that what they are making from their African arm is a lot more. Because what happens here? Cheap labor. And then corruption in this area. So people would prefer to deal with these other people, the guys from out of this continent. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So they will make a lot of money here, but do what? Invest somewhere else.
Wow.
Me, it has to start in the mind. Before even we start saying much, you and I, the guy on the street, the guy in the office, the clerk at the bank, the teller, we need to have a mind shift. that we have what it takes to sit on the table where big boys are sitting. And it's not because we have been told just come there's space. We have been called to because we are also big boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. This is hot topic. Come on, somebody. Faith is saying poverty of the mind manifests to economic poverty. Absolutely. Sharon is saying the mindset is key. Pastor Mike is saying the world of business is all about value for value. Yeah. Priscilla saying two guests tonight. I lost it. Are not very clear in the volume. All right. So I think Coach RB. Who?
Okay.
Yeah, everybody try and if you can raise your volume a bit. Dennis Jao, my good brother, and also been also doing this show with me. He's saying the panel without a doubt, blow the roof off. I'm glued. Amazing. Dr. Hadassah, what do you think about that topic of trade versus aid? Talk to us.
Yeah, so it's important to teach a man how to fish. Because
Yes.
once he learns how to fish, he can go fishing.
Your volume, please. A bit of volume. Yes. Yeah.
I said it's important to teach a man how to fish so he can go fishing with no limits. He can fish as many fishes as he can instead of finding out the fish. The only way to get out of poverty in Africa is by teaching the Africans how to trade. And we run Crown Women Rising. And
Good.
the heart of Crown Women Rising basically is we come to the continent and other places to teach women how to trade, how to buy and sell, as it has been broken down. And we see that already a lot of women or a lot of people in Africa are entrepreneurs.
Wow.
They just know how to buy
Yes.
and sell.
Yes.
And if they're already selling locally in Nairobi, in Nakuru, and other places, then they can up their game and increase their trade, which is our big thing. We go out there and look for the mama bogas, the women selling vegetables on the streets, and we give them more skill to get into the supermarkets. And then from the supermarket, they keep on upscaling until someday, hopefully, they'll be in Walmart.
Wow.
So we see that with just that, when the mama boga comes from the streets, from the little stalls that they are selling, and even has a shop, she's already increased employment. She's employing more people, and more people are getting out of poverty. And this is the only way that Africa would really get out of poverty, through trade. The aid works. It has its own place. It creates employment. It's not 100% bad. What you're getting from DC, it has a little impact, but we want to see more impact. We want to see people doing more trade, within countries themselves, and then regionally. You guys are a great example of the East African community. And then we have the West African community. We have all these communities that are beginning to trade. But also, Africa trading within itself has been a big call from Washington. I mean, one of the things that Washington does very well is policy, and also kind of advising people what to do. And I remember in my earlier days, they'll be like, where are the Africans? Especially when AGOA was created. It wasn't being taken advantage of. And I sat in my office and I looked at this thing. And when I came to Africa and I started telling people, are you aware of AGOA? And, we are seeing now AGOA has increased, but still the numbers are low. Numbers are very low. We find that products like crude petroleum from Africa is 90% of the US Africa trade. But we want to see more things, more products coming out of Africa, more Africans trading. And when you drive across Africa, not just Kenya, in all African countries, I'm always so inspired by the small entrepreneurs on the streets. Those are my best. Wow. Because I came from a background of entrepreneur. My grandmother was an entrepreneur, and she started like the mama boga, and she grew her business to a point where she was a realtor. She was buying real estate. She was buying land.
Wow.
So when people in Africa ask you, how can I start a business? Start small. Don't look into starting a uchumi supermarket. I don't know whether they exist anymore, but start where you are. My grandmother started selling water. She was the first in her village to bring tap water, and from there she grew her business. Her businesses continued to increase. My grandmother, without the Harvard business degree, was a supplier for the entire village, starting from nothing, and she kept on growing until she was in the stock market, and I don't even know how she did the stock market.
Wow.
Because she's a woman who does not have a Harvard business school. Actually, I'm releasing another book of how my grandmother did businesses, and that's how you find me sitting here in Washington, D.C. Why? Because of entrepreneurship. And that has been the backbone of poverty in my family. So how do we get other people to replicate that? That's what we do with Crown Women, getting more people to see that actually, if they start small, it will multiply, it will grow, their children will come out of poverty, the village will come out of poverty. I mean, now from what my grandmother started, we do orphanages. We have 3 orphanages in Kenya. We are pulling more people out of poverty. We are teaching trade in ways that are incredible.
Awesome, awesome. Wow, what a touching story there about the grandmother. And let me tell you something. Never joke with women. Women are powerful. Women are empowered. The other day I went to a market in one of the towns in Kenya, Murang'a town, and I saw women. I mean, like 100 women in a market, and I was asking, where are the men? And it's moving from the women from that level to another dimension. Thanks, Dennis Jao. He's typed the trade at 3 levels. I love that. Local trade, regional trade, and global trade. Most people want to go to global trade and they have never even moved to local trade. We need to be schooled in that. Los Maki say, in moving away from reliance on Western assistance, African government should seek to improve regional integrational initiatives. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Toyin, I was listening to you the other day, and people should go to your YouTube channel. What is it called? What is your YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's under the brand Nazaru, Nazaru.
Yeah,
Nazaru LLC. You're right. We have a ton of content.
Yes.
We've been putting out content for years.
Yes.
And we've just been pushing it out there because I say information is power.
Yes.
But I actually want to respond a little bit to my brother and sister.
Yes.
So,
go ahead.
So 2 things. My brother talked about when we go into the room that, there's the mindset of, okay, we are the only black. But one thing I would say is that if we want to go into a room, we have to learn the principles of that room before we step in.
Yes.
Because if we do not know how that room operates, yes, we will go in as inferior, even if you're a white person. Even so, it has nothing to do with skin color. If we enter into places, even right there in Kenya, if you go into your Senate and you don't understand how it operates, you will be inferior. So one of the things that we have to step up is our knowledge. There's a knowledge gap. And I want to tie it with what my sister said. You talked about your grandmother. I think Africa has to go back to its roots.
Wow.
Because the roots of Africa is knee-deep in trade. But when you think about the education that the colonial masters infused into the continent,
yes,
it's an educational system that positions you to be used by another system.
Wow.
Okay? So the education system where we wear suit and tie and we're holding our pen and paper, it's not an education system for trade, for entrepreneurship.
Wow.
It's an education system that puts you on the supply chain, that you go back to work for somebody else. So when you get that degree, you are actually thinking, you are not empowered to say, I want to work for myself. You are saying, who is going to use me? Everything they just taught me, the mathematics, the science and everything, has to be absorbed by a system. So the system, if that system doesn't absorb you, then you have unemployment. Right? If nobody takes you and employs you, then unemployment starts rising and rising and rising and rising, because we have not been trained how to empower ourselves by creating our own businesses and employing ourselves.
Wow.
So there's a new rule. There's a new rule that we all have to go after. That's what I'm talking about. The principles of trade is different from what we've been taught in school.
Wow.
I graduated top of my class. I was the head girl in my high school. I have a first degree in mathematics and minor in computer science. I got my master's in information system. But I'm telling you, all of those degrees is not what I'm using for my business today.
Wow. You know, I'm thinking about, you reminded me of Bob Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it's the same storyline. And Toyin, before I bring Coach RB, I was listening to you and you're talking about we don't need to talk about to alleviate poverty in Africa. We need to create wealth. And I want us to move more straight into the nitty-gritties of trade in Africa, because the world has changed, and some people may be listening to us, may be thinking, oh man, you guys are talking so deep things, this is irrelevant. Let me tell you something. One of the guests that Toyin had hosted on her conference that I attended yesterday and Friday, a bit of Friday, is a man who went to study in America and came back to Nigeria and just decided to start a company. And I would like you to tell us about that gentleman who is now on top of a mountain of IT. I mean, a man, when somebody like Zuckerberg goes to Nigeria, he calls him and tells him, can we have coffee? Talk to us a little bit about that as we move towards the area of wealth creation.
I think the beautiful thing is that in the world of trade, the little people are actually the most important people.
Wow.
Yes, because in the world of trade, the people that are making shoes on the road, the seamstresses, the women in the villages making shea butter, cracking nuts, the women that are working in the plantation with coconut and creating oil, they are actually the most important people in that chain of trade. Because when it comes to trade, again, it's value for value, meaning you bring value to the market and you demand value in return.
Yes. So
that's the world. So you can have tangible trade items, but the person you're talking about, is he in Abodeji? He's a global phenomenon. Millions of young people follow his work. But he is a serial entrepreneur that has created businesses around services, around digital payment. So people know PayPal. He was the co-founder for Flutterwave. Flutterwave is actually the system that Uber uses to transact. You know, if drivers in Lagos, Nigeria, they're driving, it's actually his application that they use to get paid.
Oh.
It's not PayPal, it's actually Flutterwave. So he also created Andela. And Andela, what does Andela do? Is human capital development. They skill up young Africans and then they digitally place them to work with global brands as contractors. So basically, you can sit in Africa and you can be programming and doing code for foreign businesses and you can be earning Forex. Wow. That's something he has designed. And for his Andela, Mark Zuckerberg not only shook his hand, they actually invested $24 million into his business. So these are real things happening. And that's why, you know, I also want to talk my brother, the coach.
Yes.
I think you would appreciate this. One thing that we do not do enough, you talk about the gin that was produced in Kenya, and I think with the logo that you have in your background, you really appreciate the importance of branding.
Absolutely.
So the reason we as Africans love products from certain regions of the world is because there's a perception We are
Yes.
buying to a perception.
Yes.
It's just about like the luxury goods. The luxury goods are well branded. When you think about brands like Nike, people may not realize that Nike doesn't produce tennis. They only distribute and market and design those tennis. Somebody else is the one manufacturing it.
Wow.
So Nike is the best, is one of the best branding agencies in the world. Right? So those are the things that, you know, when you look at the supply chain, Africa primarily plays in the beginning stage, but we don't play in the entire chain. So for example,
Wow.
we play in the world of cocoa, we don't play in the world of chocolate industry. we play in the world of shea butter, but we do not play in the skincare industry. We play in the world of growing cashew on the field, but we do not roast the cashew to be distributing in the organic world, the organic food industry. We have nuts, but we don't package it into bars. We have all this corn, but we don't create cereals. We don't sell the cereal. But when you think about all of those industry, the money is really when the value has increased. Because along the chain, you need to understand that value addition is being added along the chain. And by the time you have a full consumer-ready product, the consumer assigns greater value to a well-packaged good than a raw commodity.
Wow.
So you cannot command the same wealth from raw cocoa that the person that has added value, that has made chocolate that is sweet, that is delicious, that has aroma, that smells good. What they can command in the marketplace is real money.
Wow.
Not oh, I have cocoa, so what?
So what?
So what? Will you buy, if somebody offers you cocoa now as a consumer, if they give it to your children will be like, what is this? If you bring chocolate back
Hey.
and give it to your child, daddy, thank you. That is value. That is value, and that's what we need to go after. We need to understand that the world is looking for value,
Wow.
and then we need to say, what value are we creating in the world as a people? Because when you create that value in business development, because I also teach business development techniques. In business development, I break it down into 5 steps. It's about, your value proposition, right? It's about identifying who your customers are, understanding who they are, and saying, do I want to help them alleviate pain or create a gain? And then you as a business person say, what is my value proposition?
Wow.
And based on your value proposition is when you then turn around and say, oh, for this value that I want to give to you, I want X number of money in return. So that's the foundation of business, is saying, I want to give you, so whether you're like my brother who's a coach, whether you're delivering a training class or you're coaching people, you're saying, I am going to give you this value. And for 2 days of my coaching, and you are going to pay me this.
Wow.
You cannot demand that pay if you've not created the value.
That's true.
So that is the foundation of what I am saying, and then you can extrapolate it to another level. And one of the other things I've talked about in terms of misconceptions about wealth creation, we have a lot of, I don't know where we got all those ideas from, but they are keeping us back. We think wealth creation is automatic. We think because we desire it, because we want it, because we are dreaming about it, we think it just happens. We think that that it is immediate, that the moment we create a business today, in 3 months, 6 months time, that everything will be rolling. No. We think we don't understand that it can be automated. So those are some of the principles that I'm saying. Yes, we should whatever degree we have right now, fantastic, great.
Yes.
Let's keep that. That looks good on paper. But when we now start talking about trade, there's something about being street smart.
Wow.
Okay? So for me, I had to study the world and realize, OMG. The world runs differently. So for me, being a very astute student, top of my class, one thing you realize is that the academic system teaches you to obey order. It doesn't teach you how to disrupt.
Wow. Say that again. Say that
Yes,
again.
the academic system that we embraced in Africa, it actually forces you to in the box. We tell people to think outside the box. But that academic system actually, your instructors, your teacher in college tells you, think inside this box that I have created for you. Right? So it's limiting. Whereas the world of business is around disruption, it's around innovation.
Wow.
So anyway, so there are so many, so that's why I say we all now need to start understanding that yes, great, we have the degree, yes, we have qualifications, yes, it looks good on paper, yes, it can get us into this industry, yes. But the day we decide we want to move into entrepreneurship, we have to now go back to school. We have to go back to the school of entrepreneurship. We have to. I had to. I did.
I love that. To relearn.
We have to relearn. We have
And
to
learn. And learn.
Unlearn, relearn.
Yes.
So things, something as simple as communication. The best entrepreneurs in the world are the greatest communicators.
Oh, you're talking.
Because if you have an idea and you want an investor, if you cannot sell that idea with your mouth and your written word, that's it.
Wow. That is so powerful. And actually, the elevator show, the word elevator came from the elevator pitch. Like how people in Hollywood would meet, like producers would meet a CEO in an elevator, and you are moving from first floor to fifth floor, and you have like 1 minute to share your new dream. That's where the elevator show comes from, to communicate. Coach, I know you're seated there, you are burning. I can feel the steam. Go ahead, engage, whatever you want to do.
With the rich knowledge. Allow me to add to what the great lady has said. I think also there's a problem with the education system. We have largely taught our students to go straight into employment.
Wow.
And we also ignore some of the gifts and the talents that these children have as they're growing up, and to tap in it.
Wow.
Innovators, leaders, and all that. So we have a system that says you're going to do 12 subjects, and you have to pass in all the subjects. And if you're not good in the sciences, and you're good in humanities, and they tell you, no, you still must lift up your standard to on your sciences and all that, instead of sometimes picking what these kids have, so they go to high school and university, they're in line with what they're supposed to do. Think about it this way.
Yes.
A few years ago, there's a research that came that said 82% of the people living in poverty in Africa are in the rural areas. Wow. Now, what does that tell you? We have this big dream of all of us being in the city. It's like we don't believe there is money in the rural areas. In fact, what is driving people in the rural areas in this season is COVID-19. Do you know why? They're saying the city is too expensive, let's go and survive where it is cheap. And that's the rural area. If a young man right now, there are people I mentor in my school of leadership, and some young men, when one young man stood and said he wants to be a big time farmer, guess what? They all burst out laughing at him. He has seen something.
Yes.
Some of the richest people are doing farming, but we want this big story of wearing a good suit and going to a desk somewhere, and you're employed by somebody, and your business card is what makes you think you're the biggest thing since sliced bread, and yet you are missing out on your best because you are parabolating with the good. So I think our education system is messed up, to be honest with you. I have a daughter who is in Form 2. I mean, I understand the subjects these people do. It's like an overload of information. By the time a child is getting to Form 4, they do not want anything education, because they have been on overdrive and overloaded. When they go out there, they want to be models, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There are people who are celebrating you in my house, Coach, right here. There are people who are celebrating.
Hallelujah. So what happens happens is
Yeah.
because of the overload, people want to go with what seems easy, yet they're missing out on what they're graced to be.
Wow.
Oh, you want to be a farmer in Busia, in Western Province? You'll miss out on all the nightclubs here. You'll miss out on all, at the end of the month when the bankers have earned their money, they go by the poolside and enjoy. You understand what I'm saying? So time is passing us by.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
we need to go back and check all our systems. Even as the African parent, I sit with my daughter, and as I speak to her, I want to listen. Oh, she wants to be an FBI agent. I ask her, why do you want to be an FBI agent? Because that must come from somewhere. And now because she's half Luya, half Kikuyu, and purely Kenyan passport, she may not qualify to be an FBI agent. So I go to the foundation of what is driving her into wanting to be an FBI agent, and I see if she never leaves the country, what can I pick and drive her close to that which she wants to be? Because then she will work with passion.
Wow.
You understand? I mean, I'm passionate about branding. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm passionate about training. You get me?
Yes,
and
sir.
Because I'm passionate, I apply myself into gaining knowledge and studying, and that's where the value comes.
Yes,
when
sir.
a client says, the other one is charging us $1,000 less, I tell you, yes, it is okay. If you want to go for that one, go for that one, and the value you will get will be $1,000 less. So
Wow.
I don't bat an eyelid because I know my value. And we need to get there.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
We need to get there. I'm a pastor. When I go to the corporate place, I know my value there. As a pastor, I know the grace I carry as well. You get me? To start, because you're trying to fix broken men and women. And instead of doing that, we need to go back and start working on the education system. Because the truth of the matter, I mean, and maybe I'll be bashed by somebody in some office for saying this, there is a time, 5 o'clock in the morning, I mean, you ladies are in America right now, drive at 5 a.m. in Nairobi, Kenya. You will see a child as young as 9 years with a bag and shorts walking to school at 5 a.m. That kid woke up at 4 a.m. And I'm not rubbishing it, but we have this thing that if you put in 15 hours, you are the top of the chain. No, it's how well are we using the hours that we have instead of working these kids and make them have anything education that of course is important for their well-being. That is why now, I mean in Kenya, one of the busiest angle of what I do is my counseling. Why? My child drugs. My child is into pornography. My child is into this. And you go back and you're like, why? What are they reacting to? Why are they bitter? Why are they looking for a place to release their pride? Go back to that. Then we will understand where we need to go as Africa. Because I want to see more ladies where these two ladies are. I want to see that. That's what I'm saying. Not, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm not for saying it as it is. Not your, oh, Jesus Christ. When you hear these ladies speak, allow me just to say this, ladies, you see, you sense content, you sense people who have applied themselves well. Please come back and tell our ladies you don't have to be applying lipstick and sprouting your lips and posting on Instagram every other day. Tell them come to a higher place. There's something. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with lipstick.
Okay. I actually do have a lipstick line.
No. But what I'm saying is that, listen.
It's the posting on Instagram. Yeah.
Like, okay, let me
I understand. I understand.
I have a clothing line. I mean, do you know why you have a lipstick line? Because you applied yourself somewhere, maybe you gave your presentation somewhere, and you had enough finances. Now, you understand? You have, and it's back to what I said. You have a lipstick line. I'm sure. now I've had you. If I go on your Instagram, I will not see
You're
anything like
talking.
this.
You're talking now. You're talking. I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
I will,
Okay.
but it's
Yeah.
so what I'm saying, let's know we have the possibility. Let us stand with each other. I will tell you, and I'm sorry, one of the greatest, when I went to America some time back and I spoke to some Africans from a certain country in the diaspora, and asked them, what is your biggest problem? Why don't you people succeed here? 70% say, because when we start something, our fellow Africans do not support us. I would rather go to eat at another restaurant and bypass my brother's restaurant next door to my house. So we also need to understand collective power will make even the weak people appear strong because we will lift all of them up. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I have my clothing line. Don't, even if you don't like me, like my clothes, because at least I'm doing something. You know, I need to get Nike out of business.
You see, I mean, I just love this conversation because this is the
Yes.
real stuff.
Yeah.
One of the amazing things that we all need to learn, that I even say this, it doesn't even matter, because in Africa, we honor certain professions and we dishonor certain professions. That is wrong.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't even matter what you're doing. Whatever your hands finds to do it well. Because I have seen, right here in Walmart, I buy sand in Walmart.
Wow.
Because this is a country that has perfected carpentry. People that do waste management, they're on the stock market.
Wow.
Recycling,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
People that do the food industry, they're in stock markets. So I think it's back to our value system. For me, we have to honor hard work.
Yes.
Hard work in any level. Whether it's the young man by the streets that helps us shine our shoe, or the person that helps us with our tire when it breaks down. That right there is trade. And there's honor, there's absolute honor in that work. One thing we have not figured out how to do is that the same organizer, what they call them on the streets, you turn it around, the same person doing that work in America is in a factory and is earning 100 times pay.
Wow.
Is doing the exact same work. But they are being employed. So I worked in manufacturing. I worked for Whirlpool, KitchenAid Maytag for like 7 years. And I also worked in a factory, even though I was corporate employee, the factory making dishwashers. In order to make a dishwasher, the people that make the dishwasher, they may not even have the education you and I have. They are welders. They are welders, they are technicians on the line. They have insurance, but what I'm saying is the system values trade, values those type of work. That's why I said the little people, the people we call little people, I'm putting that in quote, they are actually the most valuable. They are the most valuable if you're trying to move into the world of trade. Because we call something front line. Sir, the coach, you have your clothing line. The people most important to you are your tailors, the people manufacturing that.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like so the other thing, my sister talked about AGOA, I also talk about it a whole lot. Part of what I say is, you don't need to even do aid with Africa. Just say buy from Africa.
Wow.
That's all. Buy from Africa. When I made some shawls and woven stuff, and I made it and I had somebody in Lagos to do it, and I told him I need it delivered by, the man was like, I don't have the capacity. I said, okay, should I go somewhere? Someone was like, no. He called his friends, his fellow weavers. He subcontracted it to his neighboring weavers. Back to what my brother talked about in terms of collective, the collective power. That's what he tapped into. He brought his family, his friends together, and he did the contract, and he got paid. At that point, They don't really care who the president is, who the governor is, as long as you can buy and give people money in terms of exchange of value. Would you really worry who the president is if your bank account is singing?
Wow.
Saying hallelujah.
Exactly. You just tell them, be doing whatever you like in the government house.
Wow. Wow.
As long as me, I know how to hand forex, I know how to buy, I know how to sell, and my bank account is singing. Who cares who the president is?
Wow. Friends, I'm telling you, everybody here on this show has a line, so I'm the next one on the line. Coach has a clothesline. Dr. Hadassah has a product line, and Toyin has a line for lipstick. My goodness, I've been
Product, skincare line.
yeah, skincare line, beauty products. So I'm the fourth one on the line now. I'm the next one. I'm telling you, if you walk with three criminals, you're gonna be the fourth one. So I'm gonna be a partner in this type of crime, I'm telling you. Let me read a few comments, and then we have Dr. Hadassah. I can tell she's loaded, steaming up. Lenny Mwendwa, just go back again. He's saying giving value to ladies. Agnes, that's my wife, saying supporting each other is crucial. Let me read a few. Give me a few more. Priscilla, agriculture is the future for Africa. And I want us to talk about, before we go, about, a bit of agriculture and a bit of trade as we get to finish. Caroline Mubichi saying educative. People are commenting, people are getting blessed tonight and challenge. Our intention is to challenge you. I was telling people today in church, you know what? My head has expanded. My head has expanded. I'm growing, I'm glowing. And when the brain expands, it doesn't go back to its normal size. Dr. Hadassah, what would you tell us right now? About what we are talking tonight. What's your take?
Yeah, so the bureaucrat in me wants to give some statistics. So Africa has the youngest population in the world.
Wow.
Okay, 60% of the continent's population is under the age of 25, and 10 to 12 million young Africans join the workforce every year. And I'm going to leave it there because it's a lot. But I want to address this young population. Also, in the diaspora, we are transmitting billions of dollars into the continent every year. Wow. So it means we have this young population, and now we are having a little money. And what I really see, and what has been in my heart, and what is going now to contribute this conversation, is Africa needs to burst out into industrialization. Wow. In Kenya, you have all those tomatoes. Sometimes these tomatoes are going bad, as Tawin was saying. If we have these factories where we put these tomatoes in cans and then brand them very nicely and send them to United States, straight into Walmart, we have the whole value. The only thing we have is to pay Kenya Airways. Think about the mangoes that we grow. We have mango trees in our farms, and we have so many mangoes, they fall to the ground. True. Right? They go to waste. Yes. Yeah, think about the macorobia. The avocado. Yeah, macorobia, yeah. Right? What happens to the avocados? And it's because we have not ventured enough into industrialization. And industrialization is what is going to empower these young entrepreneurs that we are seeing. And luckily enough in Africa, the people are pretty hardworking. It's just that we need to direct their energy in the right direction. I lived in Madagascar for a couple of months, and I was able to see firsthand that the gap, I don't know whether they're still doing it, but when I lived there, the gap was getting their genes from Madagascar. Madagascar I have not looked at the statistics, the bottom 10 poorest country in the world.
Wow.
Yet, I don't know whether that has changed. We have poured a lot of money into Madagascar.
Wow.
And what happens is that in the poorest country in Africa, they come and build these huge factories, okay? And they have flights leaving every day, going straight to New York, and all the clothing labeled, ready to go. That's industrialization. Let's go to their little island, all these islands there. They're all doing that. And then when you look at them, they are rating like they are rich countries. Okay.
Wow.
In Africa also, we have the fastest growing economies right now. I think the top 6 or 7, the top fastest growing economies. But we still have to work all these things together. Industrialization is going to be one of the ways that we create wealth. Instead of sending that, we were saying, the cocoa, the shea butter raw, we completely have it done in Africa and send it as a ready product, ready to go on the shelves. And you'll see that reducing poverty greatly. And for me, that's the to go.
Value addition. Wow. Value addition. That is very powerful. Toyin, now I want to speak on behalf of Kenya. Why are you guys really going to Rwanda? I'm seeing every big company starting in Rwanda. What is so special about Rwanda and here in East Africa that we are not doing as Kenya? What do we need to do? I saw is it Westrock coffee company, one of the biggest roasting company in the world. They started in Rwanda. I was listening to another friend of mine. They were talking about the praying ground for business in Rwanda is something else. What do you think, Africa, and not only just politicians, because I also want you to touch on, I heard you say something that you gave an example. You said, for example, in Nigeria, let's say the political class are 1,000 people and the general population is 200 million. How can 1,000 people just control the prosperity of 2 million people? I mean, how does that work? So we are not just limiting ourselves to politics, and we elect people, put them in power, expect them to do stuff for us, which will never happen. They come back, they have done nothing of the maybe failed promises. It's been there. I've seen it all along. So the first question is Rwanda. The second question is about what is the common person? What is the take? What are the opportunities for a student who is finishing university right now, or somebody who is in second year? What do they need to disrupt in their mind about their education? Let's dive in there as we begin to wind this down. This is too powerful conversation.
So the first thing we need to disrupt is we need to disrupt politics in Africa.
Yes.
So let me explain this scenario. Imagine if there's been like an accident and then they rush this person to the hospital, to the theater, and in the emergency room they're like, get us the best surgeon, we need to make sure this person leaves. And they're in the theater and they're saying, who is going to come in, who is on call? And the person who opens the door is a seamstress. And the seamstress said, is it not needle and thread? I can fix this scenario. So let's ask ourselves, no matter how caring that seamstress is, what type of job is she going to do?
Nothing.
No matter how amazing that seamstress is, even if the person on that table is the son of that seamstress, okay? Meaning she had eternal love for that seamstress.
Yes.
So let me tell you this, that person on that table is Africa, is African countries. Okay, wow. And that seamstress are the people we've elected that do not have the competency to do the job.
Yes.
So the first thing is we have to disrupt. We have to disrupt the type of people we are electing. Because here in the US, for example, we do not understand that when you think about the Senate, the House of Representatives, that these are structures put in place to define laws, to protect laws, to enact laws. So foundationally, everybody in that room has to have a legal background. But in Africa, You have people that do not know the APC of law. How can they create law?
Yeah.
How can they uphold law? How can they enact law? They are just occupying space. Okay? So if we know that that's what's going on, we have to disrupt and be asking the right question when it's time. Because every year, every time they will come, vote for me, and you say, oh, it's my brother, it's my village. Oh, we are not asking the right question. Are these people competent? Do they have the capacity to do the work we want them to do? Because if we keep questioning the job they are doing, then we are the biggest fool. Because in computer, they say garbage in, garbage out. So whatever it is we're experiencing today in Africa, we created it.
Yes.
Because we got to elect the people leading us. So that's one side when it comes to politics. Because politics is important. Because they're supposed to create enabling environment that advances business, that advances trade. Going to Rwanda, what has Rwanda done? What has President Paul Kagame, and I have first-hand knowledge in terms of his advisory team. So basically, you remember at the beginning of this show, I talked about everybody going to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
President Paul Kagame actually travels the world talking directly with business executives around the world, and he invites them to come and invest in Rwanda.
Wow.
Okay? He creates relationship. That's why you see Volkswagen in Rwanda, you see the biggest businesses in Rwanda, you see investment in advancing in Rwanda. Because President Paul Kagame can go to DC, he will say hello to them, he will greet them, he will do diplomacy, but he knows what I just shared. That the only thing they can give you in the political seat is another package of aid. So he actually travels the world in private meetings that nobody knows about, and he walks into and he holds private engagements with investors around the world, with business executives, and he pitches Rwanda to them. And the other thing he does, the third thing that he does is he actually has a solid advisory team of international business people that advises him twice a year, and they are monitoring the policies that he's implementing in Rwanda. They hold him accountable, because guess what? If you are telling us to bring money to your country, are you protecting? Are your policies favorable? Your tax policies, your fiscal policies, are they favorable? Because again, this is investment. These are people investing. This is not charity. They don't want their money to disappear.
That's true.
Okay? When they bring 15 years of labor and they've invested, they are looking, just like you quoted in the Bible, what are they getting in return?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you remember the Trade with Africa framework that I presented to our attendees yesterday, it was a house, and the roof of that house is fiscal policy and fiscal responsibility and enabling policy. Because when you are telling people to invest in agriculture, manufacturing, retail, and if you don't protect their investment, everything cracks open.
True.
Okay. So from a policy standpoint, that's the opportunity that we have. And if you say Rwanda is doing everything right, and they are being held accountable.
Absolutely.
And we can all see what's going on there.
Wow, amazing. Fact, yes, go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Spoken about Rwanda, there is something he did a few years back.
Yes.
And the Arsenal Football Club was sponsored by I think they got some money from Rwanda, and on their jerseys they have written "Visit Rwanda."
Wow.
I remember when that news broke, people here in Kenya really went ham on the president, and they kept on saying, "Why don't you use that money to promote a local team?" You see, what they didn't realize is that if they gave a local team, it would have just ended there, maybe.
Yeah.
But by promoting tourism, the tourism is injecting a lot of money into the economy.
Yes.
That is building the taxi business, the hotel business, the genocide museum, all those places. You understand?
Yes.
So I think I'm just agreeing with what she says, that I think you've got to create relationships so that you understand things deeper beyond a photo opportunity with a fellow president. Photo opportunities are just good for the headlines, and there's nothing wrong with that. But your people will not eat photos that are very well done.
Yes.
After all, I saw the Chinese president, and I didn't believe it. I didn't know that what happened. The Chinese president stood, and I think 20 African presidents were standing, and they were told, come one by one, shake the hand and move, shake the hand and move. Now, shake the hand and move. I didn't know that. In fact, when I saw the backstage, I was like, you mean it is this? You're actually given 3 seconds. But are you creating relationships that will be felt by your people? When I was in Texas some time back, the guy who, my cousin took me to a barber, I go back to what she said again, and I was told he is too busy, you have to make an appointment. And then I went the next day. The guy drives a big car, he has his own home. My barber in Kenya does a better job than that guy, by far. But you cannot compare them economically.
True.
Because in these places of ours, the policies, the environment, even political and governance, does not support these people at all. That is why everybody in Africa wants to be a tenderpreneur, whereby you have no office, you just have a briefcase, you sell a ghost idea, and you live with billions. So we are not promoting these people who go to work every day. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Making a living, and the money is circulating in our economy. Yet the tenderpreneur will give air. We had the biggest scandal here in NYS. Somebody was paid close to 30 billion for supplying air, meaning there was nothing.
Yes.
Now when you supply air, you're paid 30 billion, you go into the courts. Now, this is the legal framework as well. You go into the courts. You have 30 billion. You are fined 10 million. That is a drop in the ocean.
Wow.
You will pay it, but the bulk of the 30 billion has been taken to a foreign account.
Yes.
To educate their children,
Yes.
to buy their beautiful homes. Yet we are ignoring the guy who polishes the shoes, because his money, however little, but it's consistent, is circulating in the Kenyan economy. So I agree with this. That's why Kagame is well ahead.
Yes.
Political, governance, legal framework, all these things must play so that the economies of our countries, and I think, like Safaricom, the bulk of their finances is on the big people who buy the small denomination airtime, the 20 shillings, the 50 shillings, and that is making it the biggest company in East Africa, most profitable for a few years.
Yes.
So that should also be the mindset we have in the greater economy of the country.
Yes.
We need not to ignore these people because we think their job is so mediocre or the lower cadre, yet these are the people, if only we make it conducive, they will help us drive this economy.
Yes, absolutely. I want to jump in very quickly. And when you hear them going to, obviously, Rwanda, Ethiopia, these are the fastest growing economies, it does not mean that you guys in Kenya have been neglected. Your economies have been doing well for a long time. You are way ahead of the curve. You should do that. In East Africa alone, you are leading in the region. There you have some best practices, not just in Kenya, but here in America. Look at your M-Pesa.
Yeah.
Nobody can even duplicate M-Pesa. There are some softwares that have come out of Kenya that are just remarkable. So the fact that Ethiopia and all of them look like they're on the map right now does not mean that they've left you guys alone. No, but you are way ahead of the curve, and they're using a lot of best practices from Kenya.
And actually,
Now,
Dr.
Bishop, sorry.
Yeah,
Bishop,
go ahead.
I think it's important to acknowledge the great Dr. Ezekiel Mutua.
Yeah, I also
Who's
wanted to
also
do that, yeah.
Doing a great job in
Kenya Film.
he's called the Moral Cop.
Yeah.
And I think he's one man who is very progressive, and I think we just need to honor him as one of those leaders who have disrupted
Yes.
the political class.
Absolutely. Actually, when I saw him, he's written a comment there, very enriching and refreshing conversation. Dr. Mutua, I know would love to have you on this elevator show. He's saying Africa is blessed with great minds, but we lack synergy. We do not work smart. You guys are brilliant. I pray that out of such conversations, we can create more people like Dr. James Mwangi, of Equity, who was on Forbes magazine. Kayla just gave us a bit of that comment here. All is not lost. Kenya has the best infrastructure. You gone up? Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Give me the comment of Dr. Mutua again. It's down towards
it says, let me read it. Let me read it
just read for me. Yeah.
It says, Africa is blessed with great minds.
Yeah.
But we lack synergy and we do not work smart.
Yeah.
You guys are brilliant. I pray that out of such conversations, we can create more people like Dr. James Mwangi of Equity. All is not lost. Kenya has the best infrastructural and legislative framework for economic growth.
Absolutely. Tonight, I don't want us to finish this conversation. I don't want us to exhaust. I want us to leave you actually suspended so that you can come back. Because this is too rich, and I believe this is a beginning of very great things. We're going to be showing you a bit of some of the projects that are coming back, and we have a big conference coming up next weekend. But yeah, let's see that. We have a conference coming up next weekend. It's a huge one. Just show us. It's called the What Next Conference. What do you think about this, Coach RB?
Wow, I'm very, very excited. Again, it's an honor to be one of the speakers with great men like yourself, Dr. Evans Opong from London, and Dr. Jamal Bryant. And I'm very excited because I think that is a question that many people need to ask or answer. What next? Many are stuck in a quagmire. Many are wondering, where do I go from here? Whether it's the church, even in the church, we're wondering, what are we going to do? Are we now going to go full digital and all that, the school, the education system and all those things? So I think it's a conference that will be very enriching, and anybody and everybody should make time to come and learn from what we may have to say, and actually we also need to learn we learn a lot from the comments, to be honest with you. So it's just an exchange of ideas, and we grow together, leaving no man behind. If 1,000 succeed and one fails, then the 1,000 have also failed.
Absolutely. The timings are 9:30 p.m. on that'll be on the 14th and the 16th. That is the Saturday and the Sunday, I believe. Our kids, my kids, they have their own show. Boaz is 10 years old, and Kayla is 13, turning 14. They have their own show. She's 14. She's looking at me like, why are you reducing my ears? Yeah. So the Wise Kids show, they host it, and it's amazing. You can watch it. My wife has a show called Perspective on Saturday evening. The kids show is in the morning, so you can watch that. And we always give people an opportunity to give. You want to partner with us, you want to support this work that we do here. The numbers will be on the screen there, and then also you can go to my website, wisdomsanctuary.org, and just become a partner with us. We use PayPal, and you can use the donate button to do that. And I'm going to be giving every one of my panelists today one opportunity to give us their last comment. And I want to ask, Toyin, you've been doing a lot of trade in Africa and facilitating traders in Africa. And it's very, very amazing to see what you're doing for this continent of ours and our motherland. I'm really blessed to just see the help that is coming in, and the wisdom that you're bringing in here. We've talked about the policies, we've talked about all these wonderful things, and I'll be reading some of the comments, like Dennis Joy is saying that very synergy. He's replying to Dr. Ezekiel. Jao, I salute you. He's also a great man, a director at Equity Bank. That very synergy will be really useful in strengthening the value addition bit that adds premium to what we offer. Success stories like Equity Bank, yeah, he works at Equity, encourage us and inspire us to know that it can be done. Great point, Dr. Ezekiel Motua. Toyin, you said something, I've been studying you. You said something very powerful the other day. We may not really have the power, the common man may not have the power to change the politics. And I know we might sit here, talk about this needs to happen, these policies needs to happen, we need to put, the Kenya shillings on the international, that's something the common man may not necessarily do. But a listener who's now, or a viewer who's watching us today, and they have a little business somewhere, a student who is at like a university of science and technology, what can they do to be on the competitive edge with another student in India? How can we export or import from Africa? What are you doing, Toyin, now practically to help people to bring things from here to the US and to the West? What are you doing? How can you help us there as on your last comments before you, and also feel free to talk about your products that you, your line. Yeah.
I think there's so much that I would love to share, but I want to shrink it and crystallize it into something very small that I hope
That's
people
good.
can,
That's good.
that I hope people can move forward with. And it is the fact that do not be satisfied with whatever success you feel you've accomplished right now.
Yes.
So there's something that Nigeria would say we are the giants of Africa, but when you look at giants of what? I know in Kenya, my sister can say, okay, Kenya is outpacing this. I understand. I acknowledge that Kenya is leading certain places in terms of the advancements. I usually say that. I usually tell the rest of Africa to take a look at Kenya. But I'll tell you, if we stay there,
wow,
it's nothing. Look at the numbers: China, India, Mexico, Chile. We are doing nothing compared to the rest of the world. So whatever success we are clapping, we are living on our own planet, actually. Africa, as Africans, we are living by our own interesting principles. We are not competing at the scale that is possible. So what I would say is, whatever it is you're doing, do it well, pursue excellence.
Yes.
Just like this platform that my brother leads,
Yes.
pursue wisdom.
Yes.
The biggest thing as a faith person, the biggest thing God can do for you is to give you an idea.
Wow.
He will not do more than that. And that's why even the Bible talks about a word comes to a man, but the cares of the world,
Yeah.
the pursuit of riches, steals the word. One falls by the road, one falls on the rock, one falls here, birds steal.
Yeah.
And the reality is God gives ideas equally to everybody all over the world. We are all his children.
Yes. Yes.
We are all the children. There's no favoritism to this person or this person. But the question is the ideas God has given each of the people listening. What have you done with it? That's the question. Because that idea that Sam Walton had, he stayed with it for 50 years. It's now the world's largest company.
Wow.
The idea Tyson Foods had, he has built a $40 billion agriculture business on chicken.
Wow.
Chicken.
Wow.
So, there's so much to share, but I want to just crystallize it at that point to say, value ideas. Value yourself and pursue excellence and conquer the world.
Wow.
Don't be satisfied with whatever success. See, I have seen the most successful people. I've seen them. They are the most dissatisfied because they are pursuing, they are beating themselves over and over. And that's why they get bigger. They make 2 million, then they make 5 million, then they make 10. Walmart now is a $500 billion business.
Wow.
What is the GDP of Kenya?
That's powerful. That's powerful. Toyin, Priscilla is asking you a question. I have a question for Toyin. We have a processing plant in Nigeria and looking into getting our products to the West stores like Walmart. We are working on our packaging and everything else to be competitive. How best can we be able to access the market?
So the market is open in terms of if you go through AGOA, African Growth and Opportunity Act, the US Act market actually allows you to import about 6 to 7,000 lines of products into the US market free of duty, meaning they are not going to charge you 15-20% of the value of the goods. However, one thing that I see that my brothers and sisters do not do enough of is they don't follow processes. So there's due process,
Yes.
there's documentation, there's packaging. So buyers in the world, this is what I would say. Again, there's so much, but let me say this. The biggest buyers in the world, they are looking long term. They are looking for people they can trust.
Wow.
So a lot of times, people don't realize that there is months in the buying cycle. So if you're talking to a buyer today, you're actually talking about 2021 buying cycle. You're not talking about next month because the supply chain is so complex that it actually takes you 9 months to a year to actually produce what they need.
Wow.
So what the deals they also try to make is they actually buy off the future yields of farm. So if they it's almost like stock markets. It's like a value system where they're saying, can you produce this? Can you be consistent? Because before they can promise a customer that this product will be here consistently on the shelf, they will have to optimize their supply chain. So they're not just looking for anybody, they're looking for committed people that can make promises and deliver on that promise and will follow due process and that they can put their brand behind and they know those people would pay up. So that's one. The other thing you need to start looking is future, meaning as you build your business, keep record of your past, but also start projecting. What is my monthly capacity? These are the questions that buyers ask. So let me give you quick hints. Number one, make sure you understand your monthly capacity, because when you're talking to a buyer now, they'll say, how much can you produce? My African brothers will say, and African sisters will say, oh, we can produce anything. Nobody can produce anything. It's not true. It's not true. You know, in fact, when you go into a store and you're buying things, and you know the plastic bag, the nylon bag people put things in.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no factory in the world that can produce the volume that is needed. There's no factory, not China, nowhere. So usually that demand is split between hundreds of factories around the world. So what I would say to my brother and sister that is asking that question is, know your monthly capacity, understand your employee. So don't shoot yourself, don't over project what you can deliver. Right? Know your capacity as this is my capacity, this is my quality metrics, this is my story. The other thing you want to capture is your storyline. How is the work you're doing impacting your community, women empowerment, youth empowerment? And the other thing is packaging. It's packaging, really.
Yes.
It's packaging, and then we
Branding.
also help people from a brand. I know I'm rushing right now. A brand labeling, right? The label requirements for food is different. Just like in Nigeria, you have NAFTA, meaning the food agency. In US, if you are producing anything that goes into anybody's mouth, it's required, it has standards, you have to abide by the standards. And we talk about market access, tariff and non-tariff barriers. So knowledge is power. You have to know that agricultural goods follow a particular process. There are agencies in the US that monitor everything coming inside. So just because we want to come into this market doesn't mean we are going to pass. So it's about passing those limitations, making sure we're following the global standards as well. So I know there's a lot, but I'll tell you the market is open, but we need to start learning how to follow the process, making sure our standards are global, and then we can compete globally.
Wow. Toyin, powerful. Now you forgot lipstick.
Okay. So so actually, my brand, we actually have the trademark. I actually created a brand.
Yeah.
But one of the amazing things that I actually did is the lipsticks are made from shea butter from Africa, right?
Yeah.
So that's the Trade with Africa component, is that even those in the diaspora need to start connecting the supply chain, right? To say, for example, in Nigeria produces, Africa produces like 40% of the cashew in the world. But Nigeria, for example, the Vietnamese will come to Nigeria, they will pack it, go to Vietnam, process it, and then import the roasted cashew into US and will say made in Vietnam. So for us, my beauty brand is Omoba Bride, or Omoba Beauty is Omooba.
Yes.
But what we've done is to create products that actually connects the supply chain back to Africa. So we don't just produce shea butter. We actually now can say we produce skincare line made out of out of shea butter, and they can compete with the best brands in the world. Because for me, I deal in like luxury stuff. So when it was time for me to create a brand, I wanted something that could really, really stand up there. So thank you for allowing me to talk about it, but it ties back to my work to say we know what it takes to create brands, to create exquisite packaging, and to also tell the story of Africa in order to create commercial benefits.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Toyin. So resourceful, so rich. God has accorded you with a lot of wisdom and a lot of capacity. That is amazing. Dr. Hadassah, you are doing a great work at Washington, and you have a product line. Tell us about that and the Crown Women Rising. What are you doing there? Just tell us.
Yeah, also I'm gonna be quick, but the Hadassah Beauty Care, also we have lipsticks, we have all the beauty care products. We just launched a week ago, so we are in the phase 1. We want to encourage everybody to take advantage of the disruption of COVID. So, well, how flexible are you with your business when there is a disruption? How do you take advantage of the situation? You know that people are not going to be going to the malls to shop, so that's how the Hadassah Beauty Care was created. And also it has a great story of the Queen of Persia, who was not just beautiful,
Wow.
but powerful, a leader. So it's got all that included into it, because for me, I'm always teaching women something, especially my sisters in Africa, the ones on the street that need a lifting. We will take these products on the road, we'll talk about the products, how to look beautiful, not just beautiful on the outside, but the beauty that really starts from the inside, the beauty that conquers, the beauty that changes nations, the beauty that when you go before the king and make a petition, you can change things. So that's what these beauty products are all about. We have worked a lot on the continent with some of the top fashion designers. So phase 2 is going to be a line of clothing from the continent. All the Shea Butters, we are in Ghana, Crown Women, and we are also working with women over there. So we are leading by example. Without us creating a company, it was easy to teach, but now it's going to be easier to tell walk in your shoes. Although having said that, when I lived in Kenya, I was a small business owner myself. I was actually the top businesswoman when I lived there. And I understand what it's like to be a business person on the continent and to be a businesswoman in America. I also have now this bureaucratic knowledge, having worked with the government, the US government, to promote economic development in Africa. So all that together. But anyway, yeah, so that's the new thing that they're doing. And as I said earlier, Crown Women Rising basically promotes women who are doing business on the continent. It is important for the women who come to us at least have started a business. And if they don't, we also start, if they are interested, if they have interest in starting a business, we are able to also talk to them. And my grandmother's story has become a household story in Africa.
Wow.
And then rising to the highest heights. Yeah, creating up from, and let me say this to the our brothers and sisters out there who are starting businesses. What I have observed, I talk to a lot of business owners here. in Africa, we have this thing that we say, oh, I have a beautiful product, this necklace. So I'm going to produce 1,000 of these and sell. But we don't check the market. Is your product in demand?
Yeah.
Oh, we have these beautiful kiondos from Kenya. I'm just going to bring 10,000 of these baskets and sell them. So we are asking now that you do a little research and find out if there is demand for your product.
Wow.
Because the amount of money that you're going to receive will always be there in exact proportion with the demand of your product. And we can go into a lot of examples. The cell phones, we can have when the cell phone came out, how fast they are selling. So what is your product? Is it in demand? And then you launch your product. And the other thing, for those listening out there in Africa, quality. Quality has been a big thing over here.
Yes.
The way we do things there, so quickly we produce these products very quickly, and then they come here and they are sent back. We no longer can do that. We are now in the creating world phase where you take time to produce products of high quality.
Yes.
Products that meet the global demand. So we think some of these things. What are my products? Are they in demand in the market? And then produce those products. Forget about this Kenyan basket is very beautiful. The beads are very beautiful. I think they will sell. No, that doesn't work anymore. We have to take time and do a little bit of research so that we can be able to sell our products.
Wow. Wow. I'm telling you, what a show. Let me read a few comments right here. Dennis Jao, he's one of us, great men here. Such a practical conversation, very knowledge-filled conversation with very practical take always. God bless this amazing panel. Just go up a bit. Anna Wanjiro is asking, how do we take advantage of those disruptions? Priscilla Mwaneki is saying, we're currently working on a blood labeling and packaging. We are working with NAF DSC. Yeah. So let's see who else is there. We can go down.
There's a very powerful one by Dr. Mutua.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
The business mantra is think globally, act locally.
Wow.
Yes. And Rose Markey says, I'm an entrepreneur with a small business and I'm learning a lot. Sharon from Uganda, Ogambachi, says also taking advantage of social media sales statistics. So people are learning quite a lot. Dennis Jao, of course, and allow me, Bishop, to thank Dennis Jao. The time I was admitted in hospital.
Yes.
He actually sent me a prayer on voice note every day.
Oh.
So I just want to, every day he did, yes, every day. I just want to thank him publicly for that.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Thanks, Dr. Ezekiel. We're sure going to have you here. And he, I like something Dr. Ezekiel posted. I mean, it was very hilarious, but amazing. He's seated in his seat, I think, in an office, and he's saying, show me one thing. I mean, there are people who say that poverty is good or something like that. But he says, show me one thing that poverty can buy. Yeah, show me one thing that poverty has bought. And that was a very, very nice thing. And actually, Dr. Mutua, I usually say that the only poverty is not palatable, or nobody buys poverty unless it's packaged in religion. It's only in religion where we buy poverty, but anywhere else in the world, nobody takes it. Coach, what would you tell us? I know now we've been here, people are enjoying, but we have to bring this to a close. What would you say, my brother?
I think for me is to ask the people who want to be big business owners, if you are sick today, will you stop earning?
Wow.
They say close to only 1% of the people in the world live on passive income, and the others live on active income. If you're admitted today, will you still say you're earning some money, or will you be rushing, you're telling the doctor you've got to release me because I need to make some money? I remember a few years ago, Dr. Chris Kirubi was unwell for about a year. When the dividends were paid, I think he was paid close to 300 billion. Can you earn money while you're still in your hospital bed? And also to think transgenerational wealth. Because if you think about it, KFC, all these big companies, these people thought beyond them. And if you think that far ahead, you'll have no otherwise but to put the pillars for success long term. So when you have a great team, like Turin was saying, the president of Rwanda has a great team that keep him accountable. So you have the right people who will even prepare you for what we call, I was talking to Dr. Ken Wadobe, and says the book called The Black Swan, because swans are white. And then when the black one appeared, it wasn't expected, but it created for a big story. So we didn't expect COVID, but it came. So what are we going to do? So when you have great thinkers based on you thinking transgenerational wealth, they will tell you about the possibilities of this happening and an unexpected thing happening like COVID. You understand? So that you prepare the pillars. Other than that, if you don't do that, some businesses will collapse. And you've seen also, if you don't put the right pillars with the right team around you, when you die, your business that was huge goes down, and it creates now job losses, which affects many, many families. You understand? And that is why the day I decide to run for presidency, all of you will be my team. Can I get an amen?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the biggest, supporter of you, and hallelujah.
Yeah. And you said something about the church. It's poverty is sold in religion.
Yeah.
You know, I want to tell our fellow brothers and sisters, acting broke does not make you anointed; it makes you annoying.
Bishop, can I just quickly jump in?
Toyin, I even have a question for you. as we get to finish tonight. But let me say something before I bring Toyin as we part. Those are powerful comments, by the way, RB and Dr. Hadassah. That is really, really amazing. I'm reading this book, Built to Last, and courtesy of Dennis Jao, who inspired me to read that. And I had a meeting this week, a business meeting with a speaker of a certain county, and we had the book on the table. He just possessed it, so I will buy another book. Wonderful man, great businessman and entrepreneur. I had a meeting with him on, I think it was on Friday. But this guy, Built to Last, Jim Collins, is saying something very powerful. He's saying one of the things is, he compares the companies that have lasted for like about 80 to 100 years. Companies like, we're looking at HP, of course it was started in 1938. Says when those, Hewlett Packard and his friend, when they came together to start that company, they didn't even have an idea of whatever they wanted to do. They just said, we just want to start a company because we feel we need to do something. And sometimes, we just want to tell you tonight, just begin. Just start. If you are told people like Sony sometimes who are selling like food stuff, you will not believe it. Sausages or maybe things like those, you will not believe it. And most of those, and he says that even the biggest companies are not companies that had the most charismatic and very strong CEOs. He says not necessarily. So we encourage you tonight in this show, just start. Just begin and think generationally, just like Coach RB is saying, and that's amazing. Toyin, just dive in. I hear Dr. Ezekiel Mutua saying, never ask small to please haters. Ask small doesn't glorify God. Humility does. That is really powerful. Priscilla Mwaneki, I see you a great entrepreneur saying it's a great book. I read it once a year. Built to Last. I think it's a book go ahead. Yeah.
Mutua confirmed what you're trying to say. You say, people say money does not buy happiness. Show me what poverty bought. So you're just confirming that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Toyin, just come in, say what you wanted to say, and I'll ask you my question.
I know towards the end you were talking about poverty. I try not to talk a lot about it because I believe that God doesn't like poverty,
Yes.
and
No.
poverty is a product of lack of productivity. And the reason God doesn't like poverty is because the mandate and the blessing He gave us in Genesis 1 is be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah.
Amen.
So His mandate to us is to create. And one thing I had to do was to study the difference between fruitfulness and multiplication. Because they both sound, sometimes we use it interchangeably, but they are different. Fruitfulness is bear one fruit, multiply is that same fruit, scale it up.
Wow.
So if you have a small business, perfect that business. You are producing.
Wow.
As long as even if you're a seamstress, and that's what I'm saying,
Like that.
trade is about the small person. What the world has done differently is they've mastered the art of scaling something that is small.
Wow.
Every big thing started small.
True.
So if,
Yes.
if you're faithful and you're producing something small, one basket, whatever it is, it's
Yes.
a blessing from God.
Wow.
Whatever it is, don't let anybody despise you for what is in your hand.
Absolutely.
So it starts small. Every big company we see, like you were saying, built to last, it started small. And that's why I said the best thing God can give us is an idea.
Yes.
And when that thing is small, God now says, if you are found fruitful, I will prune you, I will perfect you, I will cut out the things that are making you to produce small fruit. Because it says that your joy might be full. God wants our joy to be full. And that's what I'm saying. Don't be satisfied with little. Because if you are satisfied with little, God will say, okay, you are satisfied. Okay, who next?
Next.
God will say next. Because God works with our desires. God works with our desires, our aspirations. The aspirations of the righteous shall be fulfilled.
Wow.
So aspire for more. Dream. Hold that dream strong in your heart. These great people were dreamers. The businesses, they run on dreams because the day the dream dies, the business dies.
True.
So the businesses that last is because the dream of the founder has been passed on to the next generation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay? So when you talk about poverty is a function of lack of productivity. Because if you can produce and you can market whatever it is what you are producing, and you can sell what you are producing, and you can get buyer, what are we saying? Then where is poverty?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
That
So
is
that's-
powerful. Go ahead.
So poverty, like I've shared before in other things that I've done on YouTube, is that when you walk into a room and you say there's darkness, you don't say let's chase the darkness. How do we chase the darkness? Let's do a committee. Let's do a meeting on how to chase the darkness. Oh, which PhD in darkness chasing? We will write a book on darkness. No, you just switch on the lights.
Wow.
Wealth chases poverty in the presence of productivity and wealth creation. It drives this away. Look at China. China has driven poverty away from the generation. India, with their technology and their education, they chased it away. Now they passed it to Nigeria. Nigeria now has the highest number of poor people in the world. It used to be India. So nations are chasing this thing away by finding ways to create wealth. So it's time for Africa to chase it away, renounce it, and become more productive and say, we don't want this. We are going to focus now on wealth creation.
Wow. Thank you, Toyin, and
Thank you, sir.
welcome to East Africa. I know you've been doing a lot in Africa and a lot of networks. And now we are gonna actually host you on this side as you visit and network in other parts of Africa. Remember, you have brothers and sisters here in East Africa. So something good is coming out of this elevator show, because it all begins with information. That's all. It all begins with information. And I'm so glad that this happened. Let me tell you, friends, it's only God who can do such wonderful things. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've gone to show number 2. That's what happens when the show is so sweet, it's so wonderful. I can feel the chemistry of everybody in the show. You are so wonderful panelists. I love your creativity, your business acumen, your grace from God. You love Jesus, you're kingdom people, focused. I mean, this show has been a show of nothing but egos. We want to thank God. We just want to thank God. Daniel Kamau is saying it's time for Africa to chase poverty away. Absolutely. And how do we do that? Turn on the light. It's bringing well. Priscilla says we will chase away the poverty also from Nigeria. Absolutely. Coach Ndege is saying mastering the art of scaling it up. We just have to bring this to a comma with my guests. We're just going to go backstage and have a little chat a bit before we leave. But right now on Facebook, unless one of my panelists had one thing you wanted to say, if there's anyone, just say it. But I would like us to just say good night for now. And take a minute actually before we leave. Share. You can actually start a watch party wherever you are right now. Share it. If you want these conversations to go on, go and like our page, School of Wisdom. I thank God my brothers and sisters, they all put their banners. To next time I'll have mine. This is a challenge. Wonderful. It's hidden behind here. Yeah, but it's amazing. So for now, let's say it's a good night in Kenya, and it's a good afternoon in America, or good evening. God bless you. Those who want to partner with us, the number is right there. God bless you. We love you. Good night.